Since early 2020, my girlfriend and I have been living seasonally in a conversion van in local campgrounds. While this has required us to get used to a lot of things like less space, less privacy, etc., the biggest thing, at least for me, has been getting used to not having access to unlimited power pouring out the walls. While the van did originally come with a solar system built with, car batteries and everything, we ended up having to rip it out because of fire concerns with how it had been done. And so the solution we ended up, because it was more straightforward and fit our needs better, was to use portable power stations instead. Power stations are these cool little all-in-one box units that have the advantage for us of having everything you need. It's got the battery, the inverter, the charge control, and everything in the unit. And more importantly, you can charge them off of a wall if you are, say, in a van that no longer has a solar system. So this is the second power station we own. We have another one that we use just to run the lights on the van at night. This one, on the other hand, was intended for electronics, basically to keep my phone, laptop, switch, etc. running. So you might wonder why we didn't just get a single bigger power station. And there are really two reasons. The first is, if you're talking a 1,000 watt plus power station, those get significantly heavier and harder to move around. Some of them in that range actually start coming with their own little cart to move them. And we needed to be able to discreetly take it in with us to libraries and other places to charge it. And then the other reason is, since we have to take it in to charge, I didn't want to lose access to both batteries, because basically whenever it came time to charge the other power station, I would have to send that in with Jen, and then I wouldn't have lights in the van that night. Now, we could work with the timing, but this seemed a little more ideal because we could just charge one at a time, and we can run everything off one or the other device. This device pretty much has the full suite of features. Of particular interest to us is the 12-volt cigarette lighter port, which is what we power the lights with, and then, of course, the various USB ports. While it's nice to have the option to use AC output, I generally don't, just because it's not nearly as efficient. And these days you can get pretty much anything that'll run off DC. Also, if you're wondering what Vatid stands for, there you go. We just started calling it Vatty. The unit did come with a wall adapter and a car charger. The car charger I've never used. The wall adapter, I know I sound like a broken record here, but I really wish they would start integrating these into the body of the power station themselves, so I didn't have one other piece of kit I had to carry around. Construction-wise, this device looks very, very appealing. I like how bright the screen is. While the front plate being white does look nice, it is prone to kind of getting marred. You can see there's a variety of little scratches and things on it. Nothing too bad, but it is something that does detract just a little bit. The unit weighs about 13 pounds, so it's easy enough to carry around. I am a little mixed on this handle because it deploys out, which is nice because it'll lay flat so I can have things set on top of it. However, it does feel kind of flimsy. Somebody broke into the van and I was trying to use this to drive them off. Yeah, I don't think that's really going to hold. Interestingly enough, they did build a phone holder into the back, which I don't usually use because it's, plugged in. It would be kind of cool if they actually put like a Lightning or USB-C charger on here, or maybe like wireless charging. And of course, because everything needs to have a light, this thing has a light. Once again, I have never, ever really felt the need for one of these because I always have my phone and that has a light on it. But there you go. Now, in normal operation, the unit is completely silent. However, when it is under heavy load or if it's charging off of a wall adapter, it does have a fan that runs that can be a little bit loud, but it's not enough to really disturb me. Now, the primary way I use this is the USB-C connector. There are two of them. This being 60 watts, while this is only capable of 15. USB-A, I have a few things, but I've tried to kind of standardize on USB-C. Now, between these two, obviously, this is the one that I use primarily. It does have a really cool feature, relative, which is it auto detects when something is plugged in, so you don't have to sit there banging on buttons. I just come up, plug it in, and there you're ready to go. I just plugged in my phone, and you can see it's now pulling 11 watts. Now that auto detect feature only works on the primary USB-C port. You can see when I plug into the 15 watt output, nothing happens. Then I have to come in here and actually start the DC mode, and then it starts outputting. Now the display does change to tell you how many estimated hours you have left at whatever wattage it's currently outputting. I found that if I am using it heavily all day, meaning I have my phone and my laptop connected to it most all the time, it's going to go down by about a third. Now, as it turns out, since it's so efficient with a 100-watt solar panel, I can usually recharge that in a couple of hours as long as I have direct sunlight on the panel. This doesn't come with a panel, but pretty much any panel will just plug into that input port. So here you can see I've plugged it into a solar panel that we have set up on the roof. Basically, it's just plug and go. Once it's plugged in, it starts charging. It does tell you the input wattage. I generally see 70, 74 if the sun is directly on the panel, and less if it's partially blocked or, cloudy weather, etc., etc. The one thing I really wish this did, which it does not, is you see here, this does not show you how many hours it's going to take to charge at the current level. I have no idea why they didn't implement that, since that seems like that would be a really useful feature. In addition, you see by input it says MPPT, that is maximum power point tracking. That basically means it's more efficient when using the solar panel. I've seen estimates that makes it about 30% more efficient, but quite frankly, I don't have any way to test it. So you can see, even though my solar panel is not fully in the sun up there, I'm only getting 52 instead of 70 some watts. I've already gone from 89 to 92% charge just in the couple of minutes I've been filming here. Basically, my experience has been I can use this thing as much as I want, and I have no problem keeping it topped off from the solar panel. Overall, I have been really happy with this thing. It's small enough that I can stow it in various little corners around the van. I like having a flat top so I can set whatever device I'm charging on top of it, or even if I'm being bad, put my coffee cup up there. And in general, it's just been a handy device to have around. The unit does retail for $500 currently. However, if you go look at it on Amazon, they do have a coupon for $120 off right now. It comes in two colors, though between the two, personally, I think the orange looks a lot better than the yellow. And they also have a 300 watt version and a higher wattage version available.